You to record in the house?
Yes. So I did.
But it was your house.
Yes, our house. So, I mean, I know he's explained it 1,000 different ways online. He has documented our entire divorce on the Simon Show online, and then I have the Housewives, I suppose. But yeah, there is paperwork in place that would make it a marital property 50-50 split. Outside of that being enforced, it is a premarital property or whatever.
The situation with Porsha Williams has officially reached a point that many people never expected. What started as a glamorous marriage filled with luxury, social media highlights, and big promises has now turned into a very public and stressful mess. Imagine fighting to protect your marriage, your public image, and your future, only to be told by a court that you need to pack your things and leave the home you've been living in. That is exactly where Porsha finds herself right now. Not long ago, there were rumors floating around that the Buckhead mansion she shared with Simon was in trouble. Some people tried to shut those claims down, saying nothing was wrong. But now, the proof is slowly coming out, and the story looks very different. According to court records, foreclosure notices were sent out well before news of their divorce ever became public. That means
about me and my fans do respect, I'm transparent. So even though it didn't turn out the story that I wanted to share, I still was open with what I had.
The financial problems didn't start after the marriage began to fall apart. They were already there, quietly building in the background. This mansion was more than just a place to live. It was a symbol. Porsha used it to show the world her new life with Simon. From online posts to hosted events, the home played a major role in presenting a picture of wealth, comfort, and stability. But behind the scenes, it appears the mortgage payments were not being handled properly. Reports suggest Simon was warned several times that he needed to catch up on what was owed or risk losing the property. Those warnings, however, were ignored. Things became even more complicated when it was revealed that the house was never in Porsha's name. Even though she lived there and treated it as her own, the property legally belongs to Simon. That detail changes everything. When the foreclosure process began, Porsha had no legal authority to stop it. Once she filed for divorce, Simon quickly moved to protect his position. He filed paperwork asking the court to remove her from the home, stating that she no longer had the right to stay there. Simon also claimed,
just because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean you hate someone. I hate actions, I hate lies, I hate a lot of characteristics, but I love the person, and I would never wish harm on anybody. And at the end of the day, I know that he's the type of person, he's a slithering snake. He's going to find his way out of it. I'm sure he'll be fine.
He gave her 30 days to move out and even offered help to make the transition easier. According to him, she did not leave within that time. Because of that, he is now asking the court to step in and enforce the eviction. For Porsha, this is not just about losing a place to live, it is about losing the image she worked hard to create. That house represented success, security, and a drama-free lifestyle. Now, with foreclosure and eviction making headlines, that image has taken a serious hit. People are already talking about how quickly the marriage collapsed. The added pressure of financial trouble and legal battles only makes the situation look worse. On top of that, moving on short notice, finding a new home, and possibly continuing to fight this in court all come with major costs. It is stressful, expensive, and emotionally draining. Meanwhile, Simon's situation does not look simple.
I'm divorcing now through this process for a whole year. And, it's caught up with what I had to do. So like emotionally, I feel like I'm ready to be done with it. I'm ready to heal, ready to move on.
One moment he appeared to be living large, traveling in private jets, and smiling for the cameras. The next, he is facing problems on multiple fronts. Despite showing off wealth, he allegedly stopped paying the mortgage, which raises a lot of questions. If the money was really there, why allow things to get this bad? Then there is the legal drama. Simon has reportedly requested in-person court hearings for the divorce instead of virtual appearances. Some believe this is a way to slow things down, while others think he wants to control the story by being physically present. Either way, it adds tension to an already messy situation. There are also reports that Simon may be dealing with immigration-related issues involving ICE. While details are unclear, even the possibility of his legal status being questioned is serious. It brings up concerns about whether his finances, assets, and even the marriage itself were ever as stable as they appeared. When you put all these pieces together, a different picture begins to form. The missed mortgage payments, the foreclosure.
Like in any relationship, especially mine, I thought we had the best communication. Like I was so proud of how we communicated. Like, that's a part of what made me trust him. I have been harmed by men in my past, and in many ways. And so it's hard for me to trust. It's hard for me to like truly love. And so people will look at him and look at me and be like, I don't understand the correlation. It must be the money. How? I already had a lot of the stuff that I have now then anyway.
The immigration concerns and the divorce drama all suggest that the life shown online may not have been as solid as it looked. It also raises an important question. How much control did Porsha truly have in this marriage? Things get even more intense when it comes to court appearances. Surprisingly, Porsha is now asking to attend the upcoming hearing virtually instead of in person. Her legal team says she has scheduling conflicts, emotional stress, and a witness who can only appear by Zoom. From their perspective, attending remotely makes more sense. Simon strongly disagrees. He wants everything handled face-to-face, arguing that the seriousness of the case requires both parties to be physically present. From a legal strategy point of view, this could give him an advantage. Being in the same room allows him to observe her reactions and body language during questioning. This hearing is not a casual check-in. It could determine who gets what, how quickly decisions are made, and what the next chapter looks like for both of them. Emotions are running high, and if Porsha is avoiding being in the same room as Simon, it may be deeply personal. No matter how this plays out, one thing is clear. The fairy tale is over, and reality has taken center stage. Maybe she's just not ready to face him yet, but from the outside looking in, it's starting to look like drama. Things are complicated, confusing, and honestly, a little suspicious. Now, here's the part that really had people scratching their heads. Porsha claims she has an international job opportunity. Sounds impressive, right? But let's pause for a second. What job is this exactly? Because influencer doesn't usually require a passport. So, we have to ask, is this a real career move, or just a convenient excuse? Her lawyers say that this supposed job could require her to travel internationally at the same time as her court hearing. The idea is that she might not even be in the country when she's supposed to attend. But here's the catch. No one has shared details about the actual position. There's no company name, no job description, no proof that it's legitimate. And that's what makes it seem a little fishy. It gets trickier. Her lawyers also mentioned that an expert witness, someone supposed to testify on her behalf, can only appear via Zoom. That part might be genuine. A scheduling conflict is possible, but when you combine that with Porsha's own request to attend virtually, it starts to feel like a delay tactic. People are beginning to wonder if she's just trying to avoid being caught off guard or having to face tough questions in court. Public reaction. Let's just say it's skeptical. Many viewers believe Porsha is playing a careful game. Some think she's buying time until Simon's legal troubles get worse, especially with ICE potentially involved. Others feel she's trying to avoid embarrassment or difficult questions that she can't dodge in person. Either way, it looks like every move in this divorce is part of a bigger plan. From foreclosure issues to virtual court appearances and mysterious job claims, it's all starting to feel like a calculated mess. Meanwhile, Porsha herself is keeping quiet, but her legal team is making enough noise to keep everyone talking. And while all this drama is unfolding, YouTubers are fighting over who reported it first. The focus seems to be more on clout than the truth. This creates a weird energy online, because when creators prioritize being first, they sometimes twist facts, leave out evidence, and even mislead their audience. Take the foreclosure situation. For example, there were warnings about Porsha's property months before the story went viral. Yet, some creators ignored the actual documents and instead spun feel-good versions of events, making it look like it was just a misunderstanding. Meanwhile, the court was already taking action, and Simon wasn't paying the bills. Now, let's talk about the financial tip coming from Nigeria. Sources familiar with Simon's background claim that this isn't the first time he's had shady business dealings. Apparently, some of his past financial decisions raised concerns, and unpaid bills were piling up long before the public noticed. This helped explain why the house was at risk of foreclosure. But here's where things get messy. Some online creators took this information from those who investigated it and didn't give credit. They shared details about Simon's finances, court motions, and even an ICE investigation, pretending it was their own discovery. This kind of behavior spreads confusion, because audiences can't tell what's real and what's borrowed or exaggerated. Regardless of how people feel about her, Porsha is facing serious challenges. She's losing her home, dealing with court battles, and managing a difficult marriage. It's a harsh reality, and it feels like a fall from grace. Think about it. She went from reality TV fame and luxury to navigating public legal drama and a foreclosure notice. That's a lot for anyone to handle, even someone used to being in the spotlight. The emotional weight of losing her home, the mansion she showed off online, is heavy. Behind the glamorous exterior, the perfect hair and makeup, there's a woman who may be struggling in private. Professionally, this could also affect her image. Brands and networks notice when someone is tied to lawsuits, unpaid bills, and legal uncertainties. She built a reputation for success, wealth, and being unbothered, but now that image is cracking, and because all of this is happening in public, controlling the narrative is almost impossible. There's also a bigger lesson here about celebrity marriages. Many of them, especially those on social media, are based on appearances. Porsha and Simon's relationship once seemed perfect, but now it's clear that appearances can be deceiving. Chemistry and clout don't pay bills, and when the cameras stop rolling, reality hits hard. So, what's really happening here? Is Porsha Maki? The financial problems didn't start after the marriage began to fall apart. They were already there, quietly building in the background. This mansion was more than just a place to live. It was a symbol. Porsha used it to show the world her new life with Simon. From online posts to hosted events, the home played a major role in presenting a picture of wealth, comfort, and stability. But behind the scenes, it appears the mortgage payments were not being handled properly. Reports suggest Simon was warned several times that he needed to catch up on what was owed or risk losing the property. Those warnings, however, were ignored. Things became even more complicated when it was revealed that the house was never in Porsha's name. Even though she lived there and treated it as her own, the property legally belongs to Simon. That detail changes everything. When the foreclosure process began, Porsha had no legal authority to stop it. Once she filed for divorce, Simon quickly moved to protect his position. He filed paperwork asking the court to remove her from the home, stating that she no longer had the right to stay there. Simon also claims he gave her 30 days to move out and even offered help to make the transition easier.